Hello guys and welcome. In this tutorial, I will show you how to conduct a simple linear regression in Eviews. So let's say that I have my X and my Y, and I would like to conduct a simple linear regression. So step number one, I'll say file, then I go to new here, and then I'll click work file. So I now have got my structure here. Then depending on the type of my data set, so in this case, it's unstructured and undated, as can be seen there. So next thing, I can come here and I can give it any name. But as you can see, this is optional, so I can still leave it out like that, and it's still okay. Next thing, I can now go on to the number of observations. Let's say I only have got 10 observations. I'll enter my 10 and I'll say, okay. Now, as soon as I do that, if it will, if Eviews will automatically generate to a series. There is a C, which is standing for the constant, and then there is that Z. Now, next thing, let's now go to the command line, and I would like to generate my X. So I'll say generate X is equal to 0. So as soon as I do that, yes, so I've now come up with the X as a series. And as you can see, it's simply a series of zeros, right? So next thing, I can go on and to generate my dependent Y. I will still say generate Y is equal to 0 and then enter. And then I have also generated that Y series. So I can now go on to open my X, and then I'll enter my data set. I will go there and I'll click and I'll say edit. And then there I can enter my values. Let's say it's N, 11, 13, 17, 19, 1, 25, 28, 30, and 32. So I have entered the X observations. Next thing, I can go to the Y. I'll then go on to still say edit. I'll edit there. Then I'll enter my values. Let's say 2, 256, 3, 57, 389, 3, 67 again, 409, 455, 548, 630. Yes, so I now have got my X observations and my Y observations, as you can see there. Now, next step is now for me to come up with a simple linear regression model. So there are two methods. Method number one is I can go to the command line here. I'll just delete that, and then I can type ls. Now ls, it stands for least squares. So I'll say ls, and then I'll type my dependent variable, which is my y, and then my c for my, and then I'll type my independent, which is my x, and I'm done. And then I say enter. Voila, right? There we go. So there we can see dependent variable y method is my least squares, and my sample it's single sample of 10 observations, as we can see. Then there is my C, which is my coefficient, and this is the coefficient of X. So I have all those statistics there, and I can even continue to analyze and to interpret. And the cool aspect now is, instead of coming up with this model, I'll just delete that. I can also obtain this model manually. How do I do that? I simply go to quick here, and then I go all the way down and I say estimate equation. And then in here, I will go on and I will start by typing my dependent variable, y, and then my c again, and then my independent x. And I'm done. And as you can see, our method here is the least squares method. Our sample is one sample with 10 observations. Then I'll say, okay.